And what is slumping?
Slumping is when you don't completely melt it. You bring it to a point where the glass starts to weaken and then it binds with the material underneath.
Okay.
So you bring it to a certain temperature and you can. Okay, anybody have anything or thoughts? Or in your classrooms, have you guys done some art activities with the kids?
In field studies?
Has your teacher done anything in your field studies? No.
See, and that's the direction it's going, which is sad, especially with the younger ones.
Yeah, you really need to. Maybe when you get further into it, you can do something. But kind of keep your eyes open for the types of materials that work best with them. I find, you learn as you go along, but you'll find that some materials just don't work. Cloth and things are hard to cut, hard to deal with. So anyway, okay, let's go to, let's see. Well, we talked a little bit about materials and tools for developing basic processes and motor skills, okay? And just talking about appropriate scissors, using the knives and things. And too, one of the things that you want to do is you want to think in terms of how can I develop their motor skills in the regular classroom in ways that are creative. I was in this year in a Montessori school, the Latham Montessori School. I don't know if you've ever been there before, but their kindergartners were doing, it was really cool. They had these little Japanese plates, and they had these little Japanese bowls, and then they had all these other bowls that had like beads and seeds and stuff, and all the kids had tongs, and they had to use the tongs to lift and put it in the different bowls, and of course they're struggling with using them, but it was really good at developing their motor skills. And I think that that's one of the things that we have to be careful of. We rush kids into writing, and a lot of kids don't have those motor skills, and so trying to find ways to do those in creative ways, I thought that was a really good activity that they were doing.
And something that happens, if you don't mind, is if the children are not developmentally ready to hold that pencil appropriately, they start holding it in the wrong fashion, like this, or with all of the fingers on there or something. And you really can't break that habit once it is established, especially once they get into 4th and 5th grade. Any occupational therapist will tell you that's a habit that cannot be broken at this point. Holding things. I'm thinking of a student I had last year. I'm sure you remember him. He had some difficulty with art. Do you remember that? And a lot of his problem was holding things. He couldn't do it. And it's because he learned the wrong way. He wasn't developmentally ready at the time to learn to hold utensils of any kind like that, and he learned the wrong way.
You're also going to get kids who are autistic. I've got a number of kids who are autistic. I have a girl who's Mongoloid, and so working with them, she has to use the fatter paintbrushes, scared of the thicker ones. If their class was working, she's a kindergarten, their class was working on a small project, I had to give her a big piece of paper. She can't maintain that working in that small space. So you try to be creative in exchanging for them things out. Okay, let's see. Strategies for analytical skills. Is that what you have first on yours?
Yes.
Skills to evaluate your work. And I'll kind of, as I'm going through this and sharing, I brought these. These are my charts for my learning focus. And as I am presenting, I have there's another set of these, because at Cleveland Court we actually have two schools. We have a STEM school, which is a science, technology, engineering, mathematics emphasis, and those kids have to qualify to get into that with their test scores. So I have to have a whole nother setup for them, and then I have my students who are in the regular classroom. And so, here's kindergarten up here, and today, this is currently what I'm doing. Today they're working on doing community helper drawings. I brought a set of lesson plans. These are It's not all pretty and perfect like, you learn in school here. So this is in the grind. I write 3 sets of these things a day, and it even probably has typos in it. But I brought one to kind of walk you through a little bit, because that'll cover a lot of the stuff that's on your paper, I think, for you to help you out a little bit. Okay? Okay. Let's see then. Yeah, we'll just go this way. So strategies for analytical skills to evaluate their work. At the back of my lesson plan on community, at the top you see it says community helper. And in the very back, I have a section back here called critique. Okay, and so when the project is completed, then they do a critique on it, and they try to utilize the vocabulary words